Deafhood Journey, Framework, Action. Deafhood. Wow. That simple word. It can expand in so many different branches. It means so many different things, so many different avenues. It's deep, it's wide, it's long. It means so many different things. It has many different perspectives. And the basis of it is the journey of deafhood, is in the person. Each person, as an individual, they look at themselves and they what does it mean to be deaf? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it positive or negative? Is it a punishment? Is it a blessing? We really need to analyze all of those things. And so this time we can go to the link below and there's some more information there. And I believe each person has their own journey, but we're all similar, and that's how community works. We all can come together. One person is not enough. Not at all. You can't do it by yourself. You need both community and yourself. So Deafhood framework, what does that mean? So how am I thinking about this? How am I going to explain it? I feel like it is my responsibility to discuss it. And so you can check out the link below, and that will expand and describe a little bit more about deafhood. And there's different levels to it, different things that it talks about, different perspectives, like the medical dimension. That's the focus of that area, how the hearing doesn't work. There's also the social welfare dimension, how problems in the dimension, how many problems there are, and they look at that. The next one is the human rights dimension. That means that we have equality for all people. All rights are the same. That we have equal opportunity and access to everything. And we need to understand that that is important for all people. So they'll look at that as well. For each person is the same in the whole entire community. And there's also a linguistic minority dimension. So they look at that as well. They talk about people with their cultures. And yeah, that's basically that. And then the last one is deafhood dimension, just as a whole. Now that is what I'm going to focus on today. That's talking about deaf people, what it means to be deaf, if it's positive. So all of those things, all the list of things are to talk about the deafhood dimension and how it feels. So which one of those match this topic? How should we look at those? How should we describe them? How should we discuss it and talk about it? Should we ask for money for it? Should we do something about it? Should we make it a goal? What do we do? How can we analyze this together? And we didn't really talk about this and figure it out. It's gnarly. It's just, we really need to make some more action. So we need to change our mindsets and improve on that. So now, what can we do today? What can we do? How can we talk about deafhood? And you can go to the link below and I'll give you some more information. So now I want to talk about that list. So the first one we need to discuss is the understanding of colonialism. That idea. We really need to talk about how that colonialism is so important. And if it's positive or negative, what it means. We also need to remember the positive meanings of what it is to be deaf. Oh, it's not, I can't hear, I can't do this. No, we need to start using positive language, and so that we can show the world that we're visual people and it's important to us. And we really need to encourage and elevate sign language to its proper place. So, language all over the world looks different, and ASL is not exactly seen as a language, but we need to apply that to our lives because we really need to make sure that it's understood as a language and encourage that. Fourthly, we need to stop audism and linguicism. We really need to stop that because it's important for the rest of the steps. We also really need to stop saying deaf are against deaf and judging everybody and just quickly judging them and not giving them a chance. It's always deaf against deaf, and that's not what it should be. We also need to understand and use the framing. Signs can be different. Writing is different. Deaf people are different. We need to understand this because we need to work together and have good ideas and think and experience. And we need to have good reasons. So that really needs to stop all that fighting against each other. And it's more and more important that we expand the list instead of fighting against each other. We also really need to shift economics. Money. Interpreter missed the finger spelling, but we need to be able to support each other. We need to support people, provide money. We need to improve and change our mindsets, but also change the way we act about it. We need to have a better financial system, and the confidentiality of that is really important because you can give a lot more when that's the goal. So community finances are constantly changing, and it's quite drastic. So we really need to be giving to that cause so that we can build more and become more financially stable. We should provide services and help out more, and so we can influence and decide what we would like to see. And secondly, we need to give money. If I have this much money and we're changing it, and the support of other people is coming in and we're encouraging that behavior, then we will have a community that's built for the deaf where we can make a system that works. There's this link below that you can go to that has different kinds of goals. So we really want to make sure that we're not just closing off to the deaf community, but we also want to, or just the financial part of the deaf community, we also want to do money and spiritual and just everything encompassing this community that we want to build. So we really got to build that together, and we have to get out the word and have more knowledge and set that up. And we really need to discuss and figure out what our beliefs are on the subject. Deafhood, that needs to be taught. That needs to be developed. So many things we need to do in order to make this happen. And we need to influence the next generations. And we need to do this more and more and more. Because there's a whole list of things we have to get through in order to make this effectively work. And we should have the same goals. That would provide the most ability for us. I can just see a whole picture of all the deaf working together and being comfortable and feeling at home together. And we're free and safe. But we have to do it together, and the deaf will have children, and they'll grow up in this new environment, and they'll be strong, and they'll be happy to be deaf, and they'll be successful. And that's deafhood.